So I've kind of been at a loss on what to talk about, but because life is going good. I mean, I'm tired and busy, but life is going good. I'm working out, um, still losing weight, getting closer and closer to my goal. Um, things are fine. I haven't been to therapy, I think, in 3 weeks. So tomorrow's my first time with that. I do have a lot to talk to her about. I have noticed that different things still trigger my anxiety, so I want to work on that. And I get agitated when my anxiety kicks in. So I come across like I'm pissed off instead of just like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. So I want to work on that. Um, but I've been writing my book, and I guess I honestly thought it was going to be easier than what it was going to be because it happened to me. I know what happened. But trying to write it and put it in order and how I want it to flow, like I'm telling the story. And I spent Sunday, the entire time of the Colts game that my husband was watching, editing, and I got like 7 pages edited. And then when I got done, I was like, oh, but I think I need to add this. And did I do the paragraphs right? And so I have a release date set with Amazon and Kindle of December, thinking it's more going to be spring or summer of next year, which is fine. We'll just see as time gets closer. And then I'd started doing the book cover design, and I think I want to change that up. I like how it's worded and everything, but I just don't. I think I want to do the cover different. It's too girly, and healing is for girls and guys both. So I want to try to do something that, if a guy's reading it, they're not embarrassed of this flowery book cover sitting on their desk or whatever. But with that being said, writing this book, so it's caused me to have a lot of dreams. And the one dream that keeps coming up is the abandonment I felt with my mom and the not wanting me. And I have this dream that it's like this reoccurring dream. And if I wake up during it, I go back to sleep and the dream continues. And this has went on for years. But I definitely have noticed it when I've been writing my book. And the funny, ironic thing is, I haven't even really got to that part yet. I've just touched on it. So, that's another thing is when you're writing something that really happened that was traumatic, sometimes you have to take a step back. So yeah. And then my aunt from Utah, who I lived with for a year, that I love and adore, we went and spent a week with her out in Utah in May, is here visiting with her daughter. And I always feel like our visits are rushed, or she's in a hurry to get to the next place. But I also have spent time in North Carolina and in Utah trying to visit multiple people, and there's just not enough time in the day or the week that you're there. So I get it to some standpoint, but I feel like this time, like, I didn't know till she'd already been here a few days. She already had 3 or 4 days planned with other people, and then was like, what day do you have free? And I said, Friday. Now we're doing a family dinner with all the cousins and aunts and uncles and whatever, which all of them won't come. But it won't be any one-on-one conversation or visiting or catching up with her. But that's okay, because I'll be going back to Utah and visit with her then. But yesterday, when the details were being worked out in a group text and I found out that certain people were going to be there, I had this sense of dread come over me, and my anxiety definitely ramped up. I got kind of lightheaded and my heart was pounding. And my husband finally goes, which he's going with me. He always does, even though he doesn't really care for the majority of my family, with due reason. he was like, you know, Michelle, you don't have to go. And I said, I know I don't, but I kind of want to prove to myself that I can go and be okay. But I think that what I have decided is I've already committed to it, so I'm going to go. My aunt is getting older. She's fine, but I don't want to have any regrets that I didn't see her the last time she was here. If, you know, if this was the last time. I hope to God it's not. But I just learned that with my friend Gina, who passed away way earlier in life. And I am so glad that I went to see her the times I did. So I've already committed to it. I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to go. One of my cousins that I really like is going to be there. So there will be a friendly face. Actually, two of my cousins. And other than those two cousins and my aunt and my cousin that's with her, her daughter, I could give a crap less about seeing all those other people. The uncle that fraudulently took me out of the will that my grandpa didn't want me taken out of, and he has told several people this, and they know this, and they've spoke out about it to other people, will be there. I will be civil, but I'm not going to be overly friendly, and I will not cause a scene. But if the opportunity knocks, I am going to say to him, where only him and I can hear, and maybe my husband, you and I both know what you did. And I don't know if that is going to be liberating for me or cause me more stress or more anxiety. I don't know. I may not even get an opportunity to say it because I obviously don't care to make a scene. So if it's overheard and people ask, and so yeah, that can't happen. But I thought of this yesterday, and my uncle and my grandmother have it in for me so bad. They, you know, not my uncle, but my grandma stalks me. She tries to get on my social media. She'll send mean, nasty things to my kids and to me. She kicked us out of our home that we were supposed to inherit. She's taken me out of the will fraudulently 2 years after the date it was backdated by the city attorney. She continues to lie. Well, I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't know. That's just what Danny wanted. Good story. I mean, you got to keep telling your side of the story, I guess. But the thing is, what you're mad at me for, that you wanted me taken out of the will for, I was given money by my grandma to pay for a water heater replacement that a friend of a friend came and fixed. And Indianapolis hardly ever shuts down. The snowstorm was so bad it shut down. My husband was out of work like 2 or 3 days. We had a flat tire, one thing and another. I used that money. I should not have done that. Do I have regrets? Fuck yes, I have regrets. It was wrong. I understand that. But I didn't do it fraudulently. I didn't steal money out of something. I didn't go to her purse and take it. I thought I would get my tax check and I could replenish it and pay it, and nothing would ever be the wiser. Of course, that didn't happen. And then she found out. But I did that out of desperation. Again, desperation does not make doing something like that okay. But mine was done out of desperation and survival. What my aunt or what my uncle and my grandma have done is out of greed. When my grandpa died, he was worth $6 million just by himself. By himself. And for the average person, I mean, you know, I'm not some rich, famous celebrity. That's a lot of money. Plus, my grandma has her own money. And everything was paid for. They don't have car payments. They don't have house payments. Never did. It's all paid for. And he stressed many times to one of my aunts, his sister, that they were trying to force him to sign and get me out of the will. And if he didn't, that they were going to. And they did it. They lied to him. They lied to me. They tell me that he was signing papers to change where the money was invested at, that it could be changed if needed. That may or may not have even happened in the will, but what happened was in 2017, I was removed from the will dated 2015. My grandpa also sold a tractor to give my uncle and I money in 2015. And my uncle 1099'd me because they couldn't let my grandpa know that that money was coming to me. So my uncle sold it. My grandpa let him keep the money and split it between us. And then because it came out of my uncle's business account, he 1099'd me. That's illegal, and that is fraud. So what I did was not right morally, but it wasn't illegal. Then my grandma proceeds to, from 2014 on, evict us from our home. We had no savings. Our credit wasn't the best. We weren't ever thinking we had to buy a home. So we were not prepared. We had pets. We had lived there over like 10 or 11 years. And we were trying to move. She would come and stalk us. She'd go through the trash. I started dumping used cat litter on it, and she still went through it. One whole bag of trash disappeared one time. And she was sitting in the alley, so I know it was her. We had to call the police because we didn't want her knowing where we were going to live, and ask her to leave us alone. And she looked at the police and said, "Do you know how much money I have?" And he said, "Ma'am, I don't give a shit. You wanted your granddaughter evicted from your home. The court has ordered it. She has a date that has not yet came that she has to vacate the premises. She is trying to vacate premises prior to that date, and you're harassing her." So then we would get followed around town. I had minor children at the time. They would record us, her and a friend of hers, and this other little person, and scream obscenities at us and drive through. And my grandmother tried to run us off the road one time, and just all kinds of stuff. Then my cousin gets drunk in 2017 when my grandpa died, and tells my husband that he was following us around and reporting back to grandma everything we did, or where we went, where we spent money, who we were with, whatever, just everything. And then he proceeds to say, well, my dad admitted that he fucked up when he took Michelle out of the will because he took all of us out of the will. I don't believe that, but it doesn't really matter because their dad's the only one that's going to get anything. So he's probably going to leave it to the three of them. But that's the kind of fucked up shit that I'm dealing with. And I just really don't know that I want to go on Friday. I love my aunt. I love her to pieces. She took me in at a really vulnerable valley of my life. And while she did abandon me too, and did not understand all that she was taking on and what all my life had incurred before, she did her best. And she did show me a better way of life than I had seen my entire life. So I commend her for that, because that's the life I'm living now, is that better life with nice things and nice people and morals and values. And that's because of her. But I just don't know that I want to be around these people. But I'm big on, I've already made the commitment. So we'll see. But my advice, if there are people in your family, nobody ever wants to tell someone stay away from their family. That's the worst thing. But if there are people in your family that trigger you from past trauma, give you current day anxiety, have hurt you so deeply that it's unforgivable, even when you do forgive them, because I have to forgive them. I can't carry on with that resentment, and I won't have hate in my heart for them. I dislike them. I dislike what they do and how they are. And that's fine, but I will not have that hate, and I will forgive them because I deserve forgiveness and I have made mistakes. And sometimes they were mistakes I meant to make, and sometimes they were not meant to make or meant to hurt people, and they did anyways. So because I am forgiven, I will forgive them. And I'd be damned if I go to hell because I didn't forgive them. If I end up in hell, I want it to be for something totally unrelated to them. I don't want to go to hell, but if I do not want it to be anything to do related to them. So I'll fill you all in after our dinner on Friday night, but that's my dilemma this week. Other than that, you take that out of the equation, life is good. Decided to grow my own nails out, so I've got gel builder on them with nail polish instead of the long, big fingernails. And I got my new cup that I got yesterday from Michael's, $12.99. Drinking my caramel apple water, and it is delicious. Got a new shirt on that says Boo, like my cat, Boo, that's all black. Got my new smaller size jeans on. I'm feeling pretty good. So, yeah. But writing that book is a little bit harder than I really thought. Not just the emotional part of it, but just the work. But I listened to a podcast yesterday, and there was this lady that was a professor at Harvard and very well respected in her field of study. She had a lot of commitment, and she decided that she was going to write a book on, I forget what it was, but anyways, it was some kind of self-help book. And literally the only time she could fit it in was to get up at 4 a.m. and work on it from 4 to 7 a.m. Before she went to work, before she got her kids up, before she did anything else. And she did it. And she was a New York bestseller. So I may not ever be a New York bestseller. My book may totally flop. It may go on Amazon, and I'll be lucky to sell one copy that I bought myself. But that's okay. We've got our jobs. We've got good income. But if it can help someone else and I can do well from it, great. But if nothing else, it was a healing tool for me. So you may not want to write a book and put all your stuff out there for everybody to see and read and critique and judge, but journal. It helps. It helps so much. But then put it away when it isn't. When it gets to be too much or you're hurting too much, put it away. And I know I say this all the time, but therapy. And I like my therapist, and I think she's done a lot of good for me. But I'm not going to lie. There are times that I think, oh, I've got therapy today. That's going to be my whole lunchtime or whatever. But I promise you, once you get through the painful part of getting to know your therapist, if you've got the right mix of personalities and whatnot, you'll be thankful you did. But yeah, so that's my dilemma. Family dinner on Friday. So we have 3 kids. One is leaving on a vacation Friday morning, so she won't be able to go. The other one works Fridays, and he has probably no desire to go, but he hasn't responded. And then my other son could go, but he was like, I really don't want to see, I would like to see Aunt Kitsy, But as far as the other family, I have no desire to see any of them. They are horrible, horrible people. And I agree. So, Friday family dinner to be continued. Wah, wah.